Welcome back, everyone. I would like us to start. It's 2:30. So welcome to the sponsor/poster session. We're going to have two sponsors in the beginning and in the end of the session, and in between we will have our 10 short poster presentations. So first I would like to invite our sponsors Opus Journal to tell us something about their product.
Welcome to Opus Journal, where...
Hello everybody, I'm Vučković from Opus Journal. I know this is first presentation after the lunch, and I got the challenge to keep you awake. So for the beginning of this presentation, we will go with a short introductory video.
We revolutionize the entire publishing process with simplicity at its core. Impress your journal's authors with a user-friendly and intuitive publishing experience. Guarantee efficient and streamlined editorial operations for your team, effortlessly managing the entire review process in a timely manner. Opus empowers reviewers, enabling them to concentrate on what truly matters, the science. Meanwhile, authors can easily submit their revised papers without hassle. Once a decision of acceptance is made, the production process commences, which can be customized to suit the distinct needs and workflows of each journal. Opus provides a range of flexible publishing options, allowing journals to select the workflow that aligns best with their distinct online presence. This choice ensures a seamless experience for readers and extends the journal's reach through integration with third-party services. Embrace the open access revolution through Opus, empowering you to shape the future of scientific publishing.
And the end. Just to minimize it. So I hope that video attracted your attention, because we are Opus Journal, that is the name of the company. And we are providing management solutions for the journals. It is by intention plural, and we also think that is a time when the way of publishing is changing, and there are many pressing challenges that are being faced by the journals. There are some that are new one, and there are some that are old one. But what is changing is the pressure felt by editors and authors, as well as the whole production workflow. Outputs are increasing, times are in need to be reduced for every task that is performed by journals. By traditional way of doing things, there were some challenges faced by every journal. Journals usually use multiple tools to go from submission to publication. Technical requirements are also changing due to open access. And finally, some journals, while transitioning to open access, still are exposed with limited visibility, and amplification effect of publishing in those journals is small, and they can be left behind in the race to produce the most acceptable author experience, because now authors are the ones that will provide the most the most pressing ratings for the journals, while in the past those were usually readers or subscribers, and those were managed by libraries, but now it is to the individuals. To accommodate all these changes and to improve workflows, some features would be needed, and these are usually the most pressing ones identified in many studies. Workflows should be very customizable. Integration with the services would be seamlessly enforced, and standards for scholarly publishing and open access should be enforced, but not by increasing the stress of editors, reviewers, or authors, but by automation and features of the tools used by those. Finally, it is about communication and hosting that content in a way that is acceptable and with a certain visibility and discovery requirements. That is what we are aiming to provide with Opus Journal management system. That is just one of the tools that we are developing, and in our development we are positioning ourselves as a technology provider. So we tend to work with journals of all size and all kinds, regardless of their business model, to provide software as a service. Because of the conservative publishing attitudes, there were never a solution optimized for openness and for adaptability by journals of all size. If the journal is a small or medium, they usually have to go and find their own solution. If they are affiliated with some big commercial publisher of any kind, solutions are provided by the publisher. And of course, there is a place in the middle ground of those two extremes that were usual in the past. In the future, there will be a need for customizable tools that journal can easily adopt, but are not closed in by adopting that tool. Because some people say that open source is a solution for such problems, but open source comes with its own set of the problems. And if something is open source, it doesn't mean that it's also free. You have a cost only expressed in the different kinds of the costs. It's maybe not monetary value, but it is the value that you produce and you give to authors and readers in the form of the quality. It is the inability to provide some features that are needed because you are not developer or you don't have enough support to integrate that the new features that are introduced and which are needed and used by other journals and publishers. In regard to that, we provide some additional benefits. Tool is never a complete tool if you are only left with the tool. You need support, and you need support in technical sense. That is something understandable, but you also need the support in any other way when you are on a small scale. How to increase your visibility, your amplification, how to integrate with other platforms or aggregate services, how to create collections of your content in the emerging platformization. You all know that, for example, ResearchGate is providing opportunity for publishers to send directly content for the sake of greater visibility. So authors wouldn't need to upload it for themselves. You also know for the pilot that was with very successful ending by Elsevier to aggregate content from other publishers, for example, in Science Direct, and they are prolonging it and opening to other publishers now. It is impossible if you are isolated and if you are of certain threshold to be visible and to add enough value for those services to provide you with the easy integration and easy amplification they provide. And that at the end cost you in the service you provide for the authors and in the obstacles for future development of the journals. So that is our carrot of collaboration, and we intentionally use this time of terminology, diamond cut and carrot of collaboration, because future of open access is certainly in many ways of providing open access, but in any way journals must operate economically and technologically sustainable. And there is a danger of smaller journals being left behind. I will now show you a set of slides showing screenshots from our platforms. Just one slide for one particular user role. For example, this is a slide showing how authors are prompted to provide journal with the contribution of each author in the credit taxonomy. It is the best to ask authors to do some manual work if it has to be done, and to collect as much metadata as you can and to enforce standards that are needed. Metadata will be used for discoverability and visibility, and that experience for authors must be streamlined and easy to use. Finally, there are some certain things that are new, such as using content from submissions directly, not to make authors fill every field with the data they already filled in the Word file they are submitting to you. So you can automatically extract information about the title, abstracts, authors, and other things, as well as integrate every persistent identifier such as ORCID or identity of the founders and affiliations. Once submission is in the system, editor is under the stress. So the dashboard of the editor, but most importantly, the workflow of peer review must be streamlined and automatically adjusted to perform everything that automatically can be adjusted, checked, to be provided as a valuable hint of information to editors. So editors would be relieved of doing every single check, like for example, reference validation, or are the authors providing affiliation in the proper manner, or does it contain some requirement sections, maybe as conflict of the interests or similar, that are described in the journal policies. Reviewers are those people that are in the middle of the publishing process, and finding and validating reviewers is, as you all know, a very pressing issue, and something that is important for the reduction of times, but also for increasing the validity of the published results. There are many paper mills, there are many schemes that authors use, and there are need for tools that check these things automatically to allow editors to go easily and without stress to making decision and finally going to peer review. This is a slide showing review report, as you know, and finally there is published article. Published article in the form that is discoverable, but not published just for the sake of the journal, but published for the sake of discoverability. Why would you send same data to other services when you can do that on the publishing step? So we tried to cover the whole workflow from submission to publication, but there are checks and there are production steps. These are the steps or the phases in the publishing process that today are not even covered with the open source solution if you are a journal not affiliated with some other type of service provider. So in this cycle of publication, we are also working on solution that will increase speed, but not to damage the quality. We are working on the single source publishing that will also allow journals just by using accepted version of the paper to, through a certain simple steps followed by automation and some certain techniques that we are developing, provide a version of a record for the published article in all forms that are needed. In the form of PDF, of course, because PDF, I think, will never be completely deleted from the publishing, but HTML or JATS are as much needed as the PDF 20 years ago. And this, for the end, is a little case study I decided to show you. This was our first journal client. This was the website and the appearance on the WordPress without any metadata, without any discoverability, at the moment that we decided to cooperate. And today that journal looks like this. And this is just one of the possibilities, because I also said solution must be customizable. Customizable in every possible sense, from the how it's look on the website to the workflows it's employed. It doesn't matter are you using single blind, double blind, open review, or you need a different types of peer review for different types of articles. You don't want to be stressed, or you don't want to ask for some feature. You just need to set a certain choices in the tool that is provided to you, and you can accommodate your workflow. For more details, I promise that we will be at our stand. And of course, if you have any question, we'll be more than willing to give you answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're now going to start with our posters presentations. We have 10 posters. Each presentation will last 3 minutes, hopefully, everyone. We don't have much time, so we'll leave the questions to you for after the session or in the coffee breaks. And okay, let's start. So our first poster is Article Processing Charges of Health Professions, category journals in SCOPUS, and presenter will be Mirela Vučković.
Biće poster ili ću staviti prezentaciju? Ne, nije, to mi je poster. Ok, dobro, ja. Imala sam došla, to je prije. Hello to everyone. Our topic is article processing charges in health professions category, journals in SCOPUS. Authors of these topics are Gordana Starčević Klasan, Ksenija Baždarić, and me, Mirela Vučković. We are coming from Faculty of the Health Studies, University of Rijeka. Gordana Starčević Klasan and Ksenija Baždarić are coming from Department of Basic Health Medicine, and I, Mirela Vučković, I'm coming from Department of Physiotherapy. Okay. Scientific journals are a key communication channel for the transmission of scientific information, and the publication of articles is mandatory in the scientific advancement. Open access enables greater visibility of scientific outputs, but publication in open access is rarely free. The aim of this research is to examine the article processing charge of the journals in the health profession category in SCOPUS database and their types of business models: hybrid, open access, or diamonds open access. For methods, we have used SCImago, DOAJ, and the Sherpa Romeo database for 2022, and we search journals belonging to the field and category of health professions. Data were collected on the number of journals in SCOPUS, the type of journals, and the price of publishing an original scientific article or a review in open access. Information about the type of the journal was collected in Sherpa Romeo DOJ database. Information on the APC was founded on the pages of the journal or publisher. The results that we see here on the poster presentation, a total of 60 journals belonging to the category of health profession in SCOPUS were found. 28 journals are hybrid, 32 are in open access, and 22 are completely free diamond open access. Second picture from 60 journals indexed in the SCOPUS, 28 of them are also in the Web of Science database. In the third picture, we see that the price of publication in all journals is in the range from 0 to 3,385 euros. The average price is 788. The average APC is significantly lower in open access journals than in hybrid journals. We have some limitation of this study. The study sample size is small and has only 60 journals, while there could be more journals connected with health professions in other SCOPUS category. From this research, we have conclusion that journals of the first and second quartile, which are considered an important criterion for advancement in biomedical field, are mostly hybrid journals, and the APC is very high. So thank you very much on your attention. If you have some questions, authors will be near poster. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next poster is DARIAH-HR, Digital Tools in the Frame of Open Science. Authors are Koraljka, Kuzman, Šlogar, and Anamarija, Žugić, Borić, and presenter will be Anamarija, Žugić, Borić.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. Today I will share some of the DARIAH Croatia's work on advancing research in the humanities and arts in the frame of open science. DARIAH Croatia, as a member of the broader European consortium, aims to facilitate research using digital tools in the mentioned fields. These tools benefit not only scholars or heritage experts, but also all interested parties. Furthermore, we maintain close collaboration with a range of European and Croatian partners to develop, disseminate, assess, and improve these tools. All of our activities are based on the premise that humanities research should align with the principles of ethics, responsibility, and inclusivity advocated by the Open Science Initiative. In this sense, our goal is to create a more transparent, democratic, and accessible digital research ecosystem. So what have we actually achieved? We have designed the DH Register, a Croatian national platform for accessing information about humanities, arts and culture institutions, research projects, digitization efforts, and related content. For now, there are registers of Croatian libraries, archives, and museums, while the register of theater and interpretation centers will soon be integrated. And if you would like to collaborate in assessing or creating new registers, please scan the QR code presented on this slide. Next is the multilingual platform Thesaurus-HR, which aims to centralize control dictionaries and improve their accessibility across different collections and institutions. It allows any dictionary created on the platform to function independently and also supports the integration of various metadata standards and dictionaries from recognized sources. The public call for collaboration is permanently open and can be accessed via this QR code. The Consent Form Wizard is a tool developed within the DARIAH EU Working Group ELDA. It is designed to support humanities researchers in obtaining GDPR-compliant consent for data processing. It has been translated into 7 languages and is continually enhanced by researchers and legal experts. And the last one, the Monument Hunter or Monument Heritage Map, is an open source tool for data collection, processing, visualization, and mapping of cultural monuments. Although the primary focus was to investigate sites of memory related to the dissolution of former Yugoslavia, the tool will expand its scope in the future to encompass a broader range of monument heritage throughout Europe. The tools we've introduced offer various benefits to researchers, and you can explore a few of them on this slide. And instead of repeating what is displayed, I would like to thank you for your attention and invite you to approach our poster and ask questions, find out more about these tools. Thank you.
Our next poster is DIAMAS Open Access, a robust, accessible, and federated network for journals. Authors are Drahomira, Cupar, and Sona Lisa Arasteh-Roodsary, and presenter is going to be Drahomira Cupar.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Yes. I just wanted to say that Sona is not able to be here, but she is also sending her regards to all of you because she was here last year and she's sorry she cannot be here with you now. So our poster is actually a presentation of the project. I'm sure you already heard today something about Kraftoa from Elio's presentation, and I just want to give the short overview of it. So I just wanted to say that this poster started in the beginning of this year, so we are now in the 9th month of the poster, so I guess we need to deliver something. It will take us until 3 years, 23 partners from 14 European countries. I want to say that from Croatia we have 2 partners, University of Zadar and Srce, so I call my colleagues from Srce and from the University of Zadar to help me answer questions afterwards. And I wanted to say that it is the project is coordinated by the Göttingen University Library, and our project leader is Margot Berger. And the main idea of this is to say that we would like to build, and we hope we would build, a diamond capacity hub, which would be something built in collaboration with 2 other projects. We call those 3 projects sister projects, so you will hear something about Palomera and DIAMAS, of course, again in this conference, and Kraft-OA. So these 3 projects work strongly together, and this poster also shows that part of collaboration. And what we want to do is to provide technical improvements for journal platforms and journal software. We want to build communities of practice to foster overall infrastructure improvement. We want to increase visibility, discoverability, and recognition of Diamond Open Access Publishing. And we want to integrate Diamond Open Access Publishing with EOSC and other large-scale data aggregators. For other details and progress, you can check with me near the poster. So thank you.
Now we have Diamond Open Access Landscape in Croatia, preliminary DIAMAS survey results. Authors are Danijel Mofardin and Jadranka Stojanovski, and it's going to be presented by Danijel Mofardin.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Danijel Mofardin. I work at the University Library here at the University of Zadar, and today I'm going to say a few words about the poster that Professor Jadranka Stojanovski and I have prepared for this year's PubMed conference. So I think some of you are familiar with the DIAMAS project that Drahomira just mentioned, and for those who are not, I would just want to give some context about the project. So it is a Horizon Europe project that is focused on institutional open access publishing, especially the Diamond Open Access Publishing. The main goal of the project is to create a comprehensive quality standards for the institutional publishing in the European research area. So other goals include building capacity for the institutional publishers in Europe, and we are going to do that through developing self-assessment tools, guidelines, training materials, etc. So when we started the project a year ago, the first thing that we needed to do was map the current state of the landscape of institutional publishing in Europe, and that was done through developing a large-scale survey that was then disseminated throughout the European countries, and Croatia was one of those countries. So we got a pretty good response from the Croatian institutional publishers and institutional publishing service providers. So we wanted to present those results on our PubMed poster. I'm not going to go into the details with the results since we have limited time here for the poster presentations. I'm just going to invite you to look at our poster, to feel free to ask us any questions, comment. We can have a discussion about the results. We compared Croatia with some other countries and with the global results of the DIAMAS survey. And a full report of the DIAMAS survey will be available soon, and the subset for Croatian results will also be as a report available soon. So if you're interested in that, feel free to contact us. And that's about it. Thank you for your attention.
So our next poster is Effects of European Union Membership on the Bibliometric Indicators of Croatia Research in the Field of Clinical Medicine, a cross-selectional study. Authors are Romana Jadrijević-Lozenčić, Antonija Mijatović and Ana Marušić, and Romana Jadrijević-Lozenčić is here to present.
Good afternoon, everybody. So we wanted to see what changes happened to bibliometric indicators in Croatia's research in clinical medicine before and after Croatia joined the European Union, and we have conducted an interrupted time series analysis. So our hypothesis was that the number and quality of the research actually increased after we joined the European Union. So our sample were all publications with a Croatian affiliation in the time period of 9 years prior and post Croatia joining the EU, with the year 2013 when we actually entered being in the pre-period. The minimal sample size was very small actually, but we aimed to include all of the publications, which was around 26,000. Using public domain records, we extracted all possible keywords in order to develop an appropriate search strategy so that we could truly gain access to every possible work in the clinical medicine. The data that we extracted were indicators of a number of authors, number of publications, several citation-related indicators, and number and percentage of journal articles and review articles. Along with the usual descriptive statistics, we performed the ITSA. I can tell you more about it at the poster. And what it did is it calculated the slope or the way it changed, did it change as fast before and after joining the EU. So these are our results, and no citation-related indicators showed any significant change, but that may be due to methodology, so that would be our next step to adjust the methodology and do it again. But what we did find is that more than 90% or almost 90%, depending on the database, of number of authors, publication number, and the number of journal articles and reviews have actually increased at a much faster, significantly faster rate after Croatia joined the EU. So we may conclude that it can be used to predict growth in science. So in conclusion, a positive impact of such collaborations can be an important fact in decision-making in approaching another union such as European Union or the non-EU countries when they decide whether they want to join or not. So if you have any additional questions, please see me at the blue poster. Thank you.
Our next poster is Open Access Book Usage Data Exchange Guidelines and Principles. Authors are Ursula Rabar, Christina Drummond, and Yannick Legre, and Ursula Rabar is going to present the poster.
Hi, everyone. Oh, this is loud, sorry. So I'm Ursula. I'm part of the Open Access Book Usage Data Trust effort. And today I will be telling you a little bit about our work. So what's in a nutshell, the point of this project? Basically, we all know the challenge of the aggregation and curation of open access books usage. And we all know that it's very hard to collate all this data that is developed across different platforms. So the aim of this project is to make it easier to have a holistic overview of the open access book usage data, exchange, aggregation, and benchmarking across public and private platforms and services. And to achieve that, we are adopting the industry data space concept developed by an International Data Space Association. This is a networked approach to multi-party data exchange via data governance and rules-based data processing, or zero copy, meaning that we are not creating copies of this data, but we are allowing and facilitating live exchange of this data across multiple stakeholders. The base of this exchange is to have a trusted interoperable data that can be exchanged live. We had many use cases that we consulted to see if this is something that the community is interested in. And of course, what we found out is that this effort would allow reducing resources spent on cross-platform aggregation via economies of scale. You can scan the QR code on the poster if you want to read the entire report, and also, of course, ask me questions about it. So what we are doing currently is developing the rules and principles that would be used for this data exchange between the different parties. We are also currently in the process of collecting community feedback. So if you're interested, again, you can scan this QR code and you can provide comments on the drafted rules for data providers part of this data exchange. This is a community-driven initiative, a community-governed initiative, so it's very important that we hear from you. Of course, you can ask me questions, and my business cards are also near the poster if you have need to contact me later on. Thank you.
So our next poster is OpenOrgs, the open-air tool for bridging registries of research organizations. Authors are Claudio Azzori, Gina Pavone, Ivana Končić, and Bojan Macan, and Ivana Končić is going to present.
Hi everyone, I am Ivana and I work at the Center for Scientific Information at the Ruđer Bošković Institute. And recently I took on a role as a service manager for OpenOrgs. It is an open-air tool which Natalia earlier mentioned in her presentation earlier. So let's dive right in. Have you ever wondered about the challenges of identifying research-related entities? Because it is not a simple task, although it may seem like it is. The same organization can go by various names, various abbreviations, also legal names, etc. But and this ambiguity can make it harder to share information and efficiently find research easily and create unified system for scholarly communication. But fret not, OpenOrgs is here to tackle this age-old issue head-on. So OpenOrgs is designed to disambiguate research organizations and also establish parent-child relationships. And the core of OpenOrgs functionalities rests on two processes. The one is automated process and the other one is the human curation process. Firstly, did application algorithm detect similarities between organizations across multiple sources, and this is followed by human curation, where curators from all over the world verify ambiguities, also enhance organization records, etc. So at this moment, we have over 70 data curators worldwide who have joined this collaborative effort, resulting in over 100,000 curated organizations already. OpenOrgs also brings benefits to researchers, RPOs, RFOs, and other open science stakeholders. You can read more about them at the poster. As for the OpenOrgs role in the open-air ecosystem, OpenOrgs plays a crucial role because the data that's being verified in the OpenOrgs is being fed to open-air graph and then distributed to other services like Monitor and Explore. To conclude this short intro, I would like to say that OpenOrgs isn't just a tool, it is a game changer and a step towards an integrated open scholarly communication system that will change the way we collaborate, also discover and engage in research. And this is it from me. If you want to know more, please feel free to come and ask questions at the poster. Thank you.
So our next poster is Pattern of Open Science in Croatians. Authors are Sanja Jurković and Bojan Macan, and Sanja Jurković is going to present it.
Hello, you hear me? So I'm Sanja Jurković, I'm from Ruđer Bošković Institute, and I'm going to tell you a little something about our, a new project we are a part of. Pattern is a project, and it is a comprehensive initiative funded by the European Commission. It will last for 3.5 years, and it will involve 19 organizations and institutions from across 13 European countries. The project aims to advance open and responsible research and innovation across Europe through training activities for researchers at all of their career stages. These trainings will empower them to tackle societal challenges, but also it will improve overall interaction between science and society. Project's implementation began in January this year. It began by a systematic mapping and analysis of educational opportunities for researchers available right now on OpenRRI. After this follows the development of training activities and of an open platform for sharing those training activities and materials. With an emphasis on inclusivity and fairness. Implementation and testing are somewhat integral parts of Pattern project and its strategy, which will be done through a variety of testing activities conducted by 9 core pilot institutions across Europe. Based on all of this analysis conducted, Pattern will develop a set of policy recommendations addressing authorities and institutions responsible for researcher training. Pattern's training modules cover a diverse range of topics vital to OpenRRI, which you can find on this slide or later at the poster and ask me all about it. These are targeted to researchers benefiting from this, policymakers that will influence the training organization with the higher education institutions that will deliver those trainings, and the civil society. How is this related to Croatia? Currently there is an ongoing demand for the training and promotion of open science topics among researchers in Croatia, and to bridge this gap and implement and promote open science practices effectively, we have been providing trainings through various activities within various EU projects. We also plan to use Open Plato platform as a place for sharing open science training materials and courses in Croatian language. For us, Pattern represents a shift in advancement of open RRI training among researchers in Europe, and with active participation from institutions just like us, Pattern will empower researchers and institutions alike, and through its development and collaboration, it will contribute significantly to the advancement of science and society in the European research area. This is all from me. You can meet me at the poster later and talk all about it.
Only 2 more posters to go. Next one is Social Responsibility in Academic Communication by Bernarda Korec and Jerneja Grašić, and Jerneja Grašić is going to present it.
Thank you. We all know the problems today we are facing with fake science, and Google experts are increasing and growing strength, and there's mistrust of science, and of course predatory publishers. You know, we all know that in articles like this we can easily see that something is not right where author recommends high schools to implement a program where they teach students how to make drugs, and that such programs can be even self-funded. So how can we combat this? We at the University of Maribor Library, we create LibGuides for students and our staff about these topics like academic integrity, referencing, unfair publishing practices, open access, open science, similarity detection, and so on. We also have workshops and lectures on these topics for our academic community. And we have our own similarity detection software that was developed at the Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science in Maribor. It works good, it works for all languages, but it works the best for our Slovenian language. And we, our researchers also have opportunity to use Authenticate for the, but mainly for the articles written in foreign languages like English. We also have our own digital repository of the University of Maribor, which is also created at the same faculty. The detection software is integrated into our digital repository. Our researchers can upload any material they wish, articles, research data, big data. It is connected to, also to one of the supercomputers in Slovenia, and it also enables permanent archiving. Anyone who uploads his or her work can also check for similarity of content. But all final works of our students are checked automatically. We also have internal list of predatory publishers that we keep, but that is just for ourselves. This is the criteria that we use. We also have a list of relevant open sources that we recommend for students to use. The list is open for anyone who wishes to see. We also use, of course, these tools that you all know, like Directory of Open Access Journals, Think Check Submit, Think Check Attend, Web of Science, Retraction Watch database, Retraction Watch Hijack Journal Checker, a European Network for Academic Integrity, also a great source for material. If you don't know how exactly you want to teach students to do something a certain way, you can check their materials because they are all with CC license, so you can use them. And I really like EndNote manuscript checker, which allows a researcher to check where he or she can publish his or her article, and they get a list of possible journals, and with this list they can avoid predatory publishers. Thank you. If you need more, if you have questions, you can ask me later. Thank you.
And our last poster for this session is "There is no open science without our infrastructure and science community," a case study from Slovenia. Authors are Marko Drobnjak, Urša Vodopivec, and Damjan Hariš. And Marko Drobnjak is gonna, I think, no? Damjan, I'm sorry. Damjan Hariš is gonna represent it.
Hello everyone, my name is Danijel Hariš, and together with two of my colleagues, Marko and Urša, we have prepared a poster with the title "There is no open science without infrastructure and science community, a case study of Slovenia." So here we can see our poster, and this is our journey to open science. As you can see, the road isn't just straight, but we believe after a few left and right turns, we will happily come to our destination, that's useful and friendly open science. And why we believe in that? Because we have some incentives and help we can get on our journey. And we can also ask ourselves why open science is so important. We are sure that it can improve the quality and efficiency of scientific research. It can increase access to scientific research data for everyone. And we also think that we believe in fair principles, which makes research data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. I was talking about incentives, and I think it's important to have a good legal framework. In Slovenia, there is ongoing development in regulations to implement scientific research following the open science principle. And in the last 3 years, we have adopted the law, then also the strategy and action plan, and all of this emphasize open science and encompass various measures. And what is the role of ARNES, the institution we come from? In our core business is we are a national research network on Slovenia. We provide national infrastructure and services to science and education. We are also a mandated organization in the European Open Science Cloud and one of the founding institutions of the Slovenian open science community. And as I said, we are infrastructure organization, so we play one of the most important roles in building in construction of 2 national data centers dedicated to permanent storage of scientific data, because we would like to provide efficient and secure environment for research institutions to store their data. And we also work on promotion. One of our promotional activities is to organize an event called Open Science Day, an EOSC tripartite event together with other members of Slovenian open science community and also with our Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. And this is an event where we gather all the key stakeholders in science in Slovenia, where there we would like to introduce and promote the open science principle. And on the last year event, on this event, we established Open Science Community. And this year event is going to happen in Ljubljana on 14th and 15th of November, so you are all very welcome to join us. And if you want to get more information, we can see you at our poster there. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody. I really thank you for respecting the time limit. Really, you were great. It's not the end of the session. We're going to be a little bit late, so I apologize to everybody, but we have still one of our sponsors. So I invite you all to stay here and to listen to his talk. So I invite Vladimir Danijelo from Elsevier to tell us something interesting, please.
Yes, thank you. I hope it works. Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you very much for the very interesting posters. Thanks to the presenters and congrats to the teams that have been working. I saw that a lot was said over the open access, and today I'm going to try to also contribute towards the open science and open access. So as it was announced, my name is Vladimir and I'm representing Elsevier company for Croatia and for 11 more countries in the region. And I'm very happy that for almost 2 years now, I'm in collaboration with Croatian scientific ecosystem, but also people from Slovenia. And I'm very happy to be in Zadar and to see many familiar faces. So in my talk today, I'm going to share some observations over countries or ecosystems that are already went through the open access journey. And I would like to also congratulate Croatia, because Croatia is very active in terms of investing and paving the way and investing in infrastructure for open science and open access. And it's very admirable because if I'm not wrong, but since this fall, Croatia is having the open science plan. So this plan is undergoing. So I believe the road could be bumpy, but still when there is a commitment and a will on all the levels, probably that's going to become a reality. That's why I'm going to just, I know the time is up, so I'm going to be just scratching the surface. But anyway, I want to highlight the benefits of the open science and open access. Actually, why the first place we are having the open science concept? I believe we've been talking and we really feel it. We know what is the mission behind, but open science is actually to share the scientific knowledge in transparent and accessible way. So those researches could be reproduced or could be, let's say, verified by any researchers anywhere in the world. But why we are doing this? This is because we have really underlying global challenges now. And I think that we can all feel the impact of climate change, of pollution, of inequality, of poverty. And I believe those are global challenges that we are trying to solve right now. This is going to be our legacy towards the future offspring. So that's why we are talking globally over the open science. And of course, we are talking about open access as a main component of the open access. So of course, open access is a very substantial component of the open access, and we don't have to neglect the other components. And I'm very happy that we heard a lot since the morning, and even in the posters, about open data, but also about ethics. It was just, I think, 2-3 posters back, also about the reproducibility. And of course, I think in the conference today or tomorrow, we are going to have a speech over involving all the stakeholders in the process of research. Let's say the society, the people, but also the businesses. So science and society. But if we need to look at what are the key benefits of open access? Well, when a research or when publication is published, freely published, well, it instantly gets more reads, more citations, more visibility, and if the research is a quality one, probably a greater global impact. And it's not a coincidence that many funding organizations or even private investors or any funding organizations very often is going to those researchers or those teams of researchers and offering to support their research because it's profound or because it has a real world value. So this is one way that we are increasing the visibility, we are increasing the impact, and potentially we are getting funded. Also, broader collaboration. When we have research facts or investigation published, this is a fast corridor for the business to reach those new findings and potentially to invite a team of researchers or to researchers to develop, to co-develop, or to develop further a product or solution and potentially to fund all this story. So again, I'm just talking through the prism of funding as well, because funding is a major issue, especially in our region, developing countries. Also, rapid dissemination. We are all aware that, of course, companies, organizations that are relying on cutting-edge technologies or innovation, they are very interested to know what is the most novel, researches, and of course to collaborate those institutions with those teams. Again, funding collaboration, business and academia. Economic growth. I think now Croatia, but also I think we have guests from Slovenia and elsewhere in the region. When we invest in open access, when we are building the infrastructure, when we took the commitments to switch to transform into open access, I believe that we are trying also to pave the way for economical but also societal growth, because the fundamental research is the foundation that we build new services, new solutions, new products, but also new industries. I know that in Croatia, there are 2 unicorns, Bugatti Rimac and Unibit. Yeah, and it's not a coincidence. I believe those companies, and not that I believe, I know that those companies are really heavily relying on research and collaboration with researchers and research institutions. So bravo to those companies. So they are a very good example of those developments. Public engagement. We all know that the broader the audience is that is reading the novel, the latest researches, the easier it is for some technologies or methodologies to be accepted, and of course solutions and products that are going to be built upon those to be well accepted, to have commercial success, etc., to have a great business after this, great research as well. The benefits are for all stakeholders in the process. Of course, I see many researchers here. You are more aware that there is very often duplications or triplications. Like very often researcher or team of researchers are researching same research topic somewhere in the world. And this is waste of money and waste of resources. So open access is mitigating that. Of course, different licensing opportunities, which can really be very well monetized. And of course, data sharing. Data sets, researches, data that was produced under a research could be really used for other implications, machine learning, data insight, artificial intelligence. It was already mentioned a couple of times, and even I'm going to scratch the surface of artificial intelligence later on in a couple of minutes. So those are one of the key benefits that we are heading to, or we are gaining in terms of local or global society when it comes to open science. And since we are investing in this, where are we heading? I mean, what is the longer term perspective of open access? Actually, what we are doing right now is we are doing knowledge democratization. Knowledge democratization is literally bridging or decreasing the gap between richer and poorer ecosystems. Because the paradigm right now is whoever is richer, got more resources, can have an access to better data and can produce a quality research. In this way, we all have access to the most novel research, and actually this is decreasing the Gini index into the publishing field. Of course, even the Croatian example, because today we are in Croatia, we know that the road is not that smooth anytime. I mean, sometimes it's bumpy. Even from my observations in the countries around, probably you're curious to know, but countries like Slovenia, Bulgaria, Hungary, and Romania just went through these transformative agreements. So they are now under the open access agreements. And of course, there needs to be different factors like policy, commitment, resources, trainings, and of course, let's say, passing the knowledge to the research institutions, but also to the researchers, how the game is changed. But anyway, after this stage is passed, things are going into more quality and more scholarly output. The thing is that, yes, more open access models are going to be invented and implemented further on, and definitely the topic is under development. Funding. Funding is very important, and I believe it's very important for whatever we are talking about. We believe that the funding is changing. I'm not saying that it's going to be more difficult or the funding is going to diminish, not at all. Now, probably there is more funds for science than ever, and I believe the budgets for science globally are going to be increasing further on. Just probably the criteria or the way that the budget is going to be we are going to be applying for budgets, or we are going to be getting funded, is going to change. This is happening when the open access is happening. Of course, when we're talking about open access today, we heard it a couple of times that anything that comes from starts with open, let's say, all the components of the open science concept, open access, but also open data, but also open source software, it should be integrated and to work together in an ecosystem. And of course, when it comes to curated data, new models or new quality and peer review systems are going to be developed. So this is where we are heading. The road, as I said, is not that smooth anytime, but pretty much this is our commitment where we are talking about open science and open access. Elsevier as an organization, we are very active. We are one of the fastest growing organizations in terms of open access. Now we have over 2,000 institutions under open access agreement and around 600 journals, only open access. Of course, we are in collaboration with the ecosystems that are willing to transfer further or to go into the open access field. I know the time is up, but I would like to scratch two more topics. One of them is the Sustainable Development Goals. I don't think we discussed about those today, but I would like to share with you that in terms of the context of funding. You know that the United Nations Initiative for the Sustainable Development Goals, this is the list of the underlying global challenges. I already named it: climate change, pollution, inequality, and those solutions, and this initiative was not meant to be a funding institution. But now, a couple of years later, it's already recognized that in order to have a scientific progress, in order to have all those challenges solved, there should be an adequate funding. So all those sustainable development goals are now a very good resources. So whatever you use as a funding, no matter if those are budgets from the university, national, European money, or money from sponsors or other funders, sustainable development goals are also a very good source for funding. Of course, the common belief is that the research is fundamental to solve those global challenges, 16 or 17 of them. But the thing is, there are different solutions that can really chart you and guide you what type of grants or financial aid programs there are. And very often those are in three verticals: people, prosperity, and planet. As you can see, the Sustainable Development Goal, or SDG 3, is one of the most, there are most publications in there. The second largest is the energy. And it's very, let's say, normal and probably good that Croatia is also very active in SDG 3, which is in coherence with the global outcome. I'm just scratching the surface for the SDGs as an alternative source of funding. And of course, those are topics for research that are really with great potential. And lastly, it's been already said, the application of artificial intelligence. Well, since November 2022, we have one of the most prominent example. This is the ChatGPT. It was already mentioned a couple of times today. And we all know that artificial intelligence is not something new. From decades, researchers or scientists are working over this. But now, probably for the first time, we have something that we can use even in our pocket. ChatGPT is already on our phones. And I wanted to just share with you the following information. Well, usually those are the generative artificial intelligence. It's really dependent on the data. So if our input is a data which is not curated, it's not clean, it's not precise, it's not validated, probably the artificial intelligence engine is going to produce which is probably fake or not true or not precise, not validated. As they call it, there's going to be a bias. As they call it, it's a hallucination. Well, like organizations like us, like Elsevier and all other colleagues, we are actually developing together with you, with the global science community, curated data. So that's why we came up with this idea to put artificial intelligence engine over curated data. And this is actually our first try, and we are developing, and it was already launched. This is the test, it's alpha product, SCOPUS AI. I know in Croatia you use SCOPUS, and now I think in the end of October there's going to be a SCOPUS day in here in Croatia. And that's why I would like to share with you this this QR code, and of course whoever is interested may really test it. And by the time the SCOPUS day in Croatia happens, probably you're going to have a lot more questions to try. Anyway, this is something that is coming. Croatia is using SCOPUS, and SCOPUS AI is coming further on. I know the time is up. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much. We're going to close this session. Posters are exhibited there, so when you'll have time, because now you won't, take a walk and talk to the poster presenters. Okay, thank you very much for this session. We're going to close it now, and in 3 minutes we're going to start with a new session, the last one for the day.